Hello friends and enemies, welcome back to Happy For Now. It's me Isabel here with my January wrap up, which I'm filming a few days early because I have a lot of things happening in the beginning of February, and at this point, like, I pretty much read all I'm gonna read for January, and anything else I finish will be finished in February. So I did have a pretty low for me reading month. I will note I did not read any manga, but I did read some comics, mostly because of the move situation and just, you know, I'm not in my own space. I love being at my parents', like, it's great here, but it's very different. Obviously, sometimes when you're not like in your normal area and space to read and to find time to do all the things, and like, you know, I want to have fun with my mom while I'm here and hang out with her and do stuff too. So some things took a backseat to reading, and that's okay. Also, it's been so cold, and when it's cold like this and I get into bed when I normally read, all I want to do is go to sleep because, like, I'll have my bed all warm and cozy. But beyond the point, it is officially the end of January, and fingers crossed for some warmer weather for all of us, across the states at least, because it has been so very cold here. In my mid-month wrap-ups, I don't give you my stats and all that good stuff. And in my end-of-month wrap-ups, I just highlight the books that I read at the beginning of half the month. So when we go through this, I'll just let you know what I rated it and if I read it in the middle of the month or before the middle of the month. So you can go back to my mid-month wrap-up for more details on those books, but I think it's pretty much split towards me reading more towards the end of the month than the first half. So first things first, let's talk about stats. I read a total of 16 books in January for 3,897 pages. My average rating was 4 stars, which makes sense. I had a lot of more mediocre books. I feel like I'm usually over the 4-star range because I tend to DNF things I don't want to read. That's just how I work. I read 4 titles from Kindle Unlimited, 3 from the library. I had 3 rereads. The age group breakdown for these is 15 adult titles and 1 YA. The format breakdown then is 5 ebooks, 7 audiobooks, 3 graphic novels, and 1 comic. And I also read 3 new to me authors, so that's really exciting. I like tracking that number of debuts and new to me authors that I read. So I'm really happy that I read 3 this month. Like I said, it's been kind of a month of comfort reads and rereads because I had three is a lot for me because I reread Saga. Actually, yeah. So I reread 2 volumes of Saga and I reread Ice Planet Barbarians. So I'm not a big rereader. So I was surprised this month when I saw it like written down, like, oh yeah, I did reread quite a bit for me. All right, and let's jump into my ratings and all that good stuff. I had no DNFs, 1, 2, or 3, or 2.5-star books this month, which I am relieved about. Like, I feel like I had a mediocre reading month. Like, nothing was spectacular really, but we'll get to it. We did have 1 spectacular book. So in my 3 stars, we have Until April by Aurora Rose Reynolds, and Sated on the Beach by Rhiannon Burnett, and Secrets We Hunt by Dana Isley in that one group together, and all of those were talked about in my mid-month wrap-up. For 3.5s, we have Duke Actually by Jenny Holiday, also in my mid-month wrap-up. And then the new book I have is The Sea Witch by Katie Roberts. So I really struggled with this one because I wanted to love it. I wanted to love it so badly, you have no idea. But something about their dynamic in this book did not work for me. And usually I really like poly books like this and triads. I think it might have been some of the deception in the storyline plot, but it still wasn't a bad book by any means. And I enjoyed a lot of elements of it. I listened to the whole thing on a drive down to Tennessee and back. Well, on the drive there, not the drive, like it's a one-way book, one way of the trip book. And I found it engaging, but I also wasn't like so drawn to like never turn it off. I did pause it a lot. And I think that for me was a reflection of my lack of engagement in this whole triad story of sorts. I don't know, something was lacking. Then my 4-star reads. So from the previous mid-month wrap-up, we have The 30-Day Boyfriend by Whitney G. And then the rest of these are all new and a reread. So first we have The Ivies by Alexa Dunn, who is a YouTuber I have been on lives with. I do not know her personally. That does not affect my rating. I'm still gonna give an honest rating. This for me was just a really fun and fresh YA thriller. I don't expect a ton of groundbreaking things in my YA thrillers, but I didn't fully see the twists coming. I had some suspicions, but I didn't like predict everything that was gonna happen. I really enjoyed our characters. I liked the boarding school setting, and I loved watching some rich kids get served to their asses a little bit, because that's always fun. But I thought this was a really engaging YA thriller. I think if 16, 15-year-old me, 14-year-old me had read this, oh my gosh, I would have been head over heels. Would have loved it. So that's something I keep in mind when I read books like this. And if you like YA thrillers, you probably would definitely enjoy this one. And then I'm going to talk about these two together, kind of, which is Three of Hearts and Pair of Fools by Lillian Lark. This is book 1 and 2 in Harpies of a Feather series. This will be a trilogy about all three sisters finding love. Harpies are supposed to be solitary creatures, kind of, and rely on their harpy family to like care for their children, and they always come in threes, so that's really fun. And the first book is a triad polyamorous relationship with a demon and a wolf shifter. And the wolf shifter hero is a baker, and really, it's very cute. And he and Asa the demon find their way into Zeph's life, and it's really precious. And I loved how this relationship unfolded. I also loved the peak of characters we got from the first book I read by Lillian Lark, which was the Stalked by the Kraken book. And this is all set in like the same town, same universe. So it was really fun to read. I really enjoyed it. I think this was just absolutely a solid book, solid paranormal. And the following book, Pair of Fools, had some of my favorite chemistry as far as two people who are very reluctant to commit. I did not love the third act breakup in this one and / the reasoning, but also at the same time it made a lot of sense for me. And this one follows Sophia and Mace, who we met in both books, and they are like a enemies to lovers situation happening here, or dislike to lovers more than like pure enemies. But Sophia's really interesting as a heroine. She's working on making her own like detective PI business thing. And I just really loved their interactions and how they came together in the end. It was just really cute and bantery in the best of ways. I love good banter, and I feel like Lillian Lark is very good at banter. And then we have one of my rereads, which was Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. I had a 3-star on this. I bumped it to a 4 on my reread. I really struggle with book 1 because I think it's a hard book to recommend. Maybe easier to recommend now that it's been edited in the print release. But it's one of those things that's like, it's a heavier book than the rest of the series still. There's a lot more trauma in this book than the rest of the series, but they still address these things in the other books too. But yeah, I mean, I love Ice Planet Barbarians. We know this. I've done vlogs on them. It's just such a fun series, and Ruby Dixon's so talented, and it's really interesting revisiting this, you know, after 2 years or more of not reading it. So yeah, I had a good time. 4.5, I didn't have any, so we'll jump right to my 5-star, which is House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. This is the first book in Crescent City. I will have a reading vlog coming out in February for it. It was my first time reading it. I've never read it before. I kind of put it off till the new book came out, and I really was surprised by this. I was very impressed, to be honest with you. I didn't think I would like it as much as I did. I really liked the murder mystery plot going into this. I'm very interested in the romance to see where that goes. And I didn't see a lot of that end coming in any way. I'm trying not to spoil it because I feel like it's one of those books that's so long I could easily spoil it not meaning to. So I'm just gonna leave it at that and move right along to my one lone 6-star of the month. And that is Monroe by Kresley Cole, surprising absolutely no one, I'm sure. I reread Immortals After Dark last year with Charles over at Books on Stereo and had such a blast. And I spent like 2 days just finishing Monroe basically, and it was the best decision of my life. I was so glad to read this book, to have it in my hands, to experience this story, and I loved where it went, and I'm excited for what is next. I hope we get something in the next year again. I'm hoping it doesn't take as long of a wait between books this time, but we'll see. But I also could be okay if this was the last Immortals After Dark book. I feel like I kind of approach everyone like it could be the last. Not because Kresley isn't writing them, but just because you never know. I did find Monroe to be everything. I loved him so much, and his heroine was so just everything you wanted for him. And I don't want to give a lot away because, like I said, it just came out, so I don't want to spoil anything. But I absolutely loved it. If you want to talk about it, feel free to DM me. I'm happy to talk about Monroe. But yeah, I loved it. It was everything I wanted. It even had some things that I don't usually love in a book, but I really liked how it worked out here. And yeah, we got to see our faves again, and it was the best feeling in the world to see our faves again, honestly, and be back in that world. It half made me want to do a reread, but I need to start Changeling before I dive into a reread of Immortals After Dark. All right, so I had no manga this month, so we're just gonna talk comics. And I will have a lot of manga in February, so be ready. But comic-wise, I did read a whole bunch of Saga this month. So I've been doing Saga lives. I missed the last one, but with a whole bunch of us over on Ashley's channel, Bookish Realm, with joined by like, oh gosh, Chelsea Zhao, Bree from the Locked Book Petition, Erica from the Broken Spine, and it has been a blast. I have loved reading these so much. So yeah, I reread volume 7 and 8 of the graphic trades for Saga. I gave the volume 8 a 5-star, volume 7 a 4-star, and volume 9 a 4-star. I am so glad I waited to read volume 9 until after the 3-year wait was over for their intermission hiatus situation, because I immediately read issue 55 and I need 56 right now. Like, I need it right now. I gave issue 55, I think, a 4-star as well, because I need more. I need more context. But I am happy that in the back of that volume, they told us how many issues Saga is going to be. So I do feel like I have an end in sight, at least, because I had a moment where I was like, what if the story never wraps up? And no, they told us 108 issues. So we're on 55 right now. We've got 53 more to go. Is that right? Is that math? I can't wait to see where we end up. You know, that's gonna take a couple more years, obviously, but I did have a moment where I was like, what if this just stops out of nowhere and we have no resolution? I would be very mad. Volume 9 was a gut punch. Yeah, I'm real glad I didn't read it until then. And issue 55 was also kind of a gut punch to see. But I'm really, really excited for 56 to come out, issue 56 that is, and see where it leads us. So yeah, that is all of my reading in January. Let me know your favorite book you read in January. And also let me know if you're reading Saga too, because I feel like, you know, it's the time to jump back on the train because it's here and it's coming out monthly for a while again. But yeah, do that. And if you don't want to do that, leave me a sunshine emoji, because I am currently somewhere very warm, and thank goodness for that. I will see y'all in just a few days in my next video, which happens to be my mom's favorite books of 2021. So make sure you're on the lookout for that on Thursday. Yeah, I will see y'all then. Thank you so much for hanging out. I'll have links to all of these books in that description box, as well as links to be my friend anywhere on the internet. Bye, y'all.
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions. We'll get